Hey all, Pastor Rick here with another Blair Road United Methodist Church Thoughtful Thursday moment. Thanks for tuning in today. So today is only February 15th, just one day after Valentine's Day. And we're already in the season of Lent. What? Lent so soon? It's not even been 2 months since we celebrated Christmas, which means that there are a lot of people who are still paying off their Christmas debt. And now we're entering a season where we focus on trials, temptations, and emptiness. It's hard to think about emptiness with Christmas carols still ringing in our ears. And it's really hard to think about emptiness in a world that constantly tells us to fill ourselves up. So what's the deal with Lent and focusing on emptiness? Well, in the early days of the church, Lent was a 40-day season of spiritual preparation. It was a time when those who were new in their faith would prepare themselves for baptism. It was also when those who had separated themselves from the church were reconciled with and welcomed back into their community of faith. This way, the whole congregation was reminded of God's mercy and forgiveness and the need we all have to renew our faith. Nowadays, people who are familiar with Lent often give up something meaningful, like chocolate, coffee, or time on social media as a sacrifice to recall Jesus' temptations and his ultimate sacrifice for us. Some people, in addition to giving up something, will add something to their daily routine, like a dedicated time of prayer and study, or they'll commit to serving others through a mission or outreach, like a soup kitchen, support group, crisis center, or volunteer at church. Now, Lent is a challenging time. We turn inward to examine our hearts and lives. We do spiritual inventories to see what needs to be tweaked or what habits we just need to get rid of. Lent is when we try to empty ourselves of all that keeps us separated from God and each other. Things like pride, arrogance, self-centeredness, unforgiveness, or the need to be right at all cost. And it's hard to let go of these things, even though they do keep us at arm's length from God and others. And it's difficult to think that emptiness is a good thing, given that we're bombarded with messages telling us otherwise. But when we empty ourselves of things that are life-draining, this allows God to fill us with thoughts and behaviors that are life-affirming and life-bringing, like compassion, patience, unity, forgiveness, thinking of others' needs, and working for the greater good. And striving for God-inspired character and conduct takes a lifetime of work. And we remind ourselves of this fact every Lent when we choose to take a wilderness journey with God, when we choose to take a journey to the cross, both Jesus's and ours. And this Lent, we're going to focus on our individual and collective journeys to the cross. And we'll discuss different times along the journey, those experiential moments that mark, shape, and change us. This Sunday, we'll examine a time of learning from those wilderness moments of trial and temptation. We'll examine a well-known story about Jesus' trials and temptations, and we'll relate it to our struggles and how we can overcome our wilderness moments, just like Jesus did. So we hope you'll join us in person at our 8:45 traditional worship service, our 11:11 contemporary service, or here online. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for another Thoughtful Thursday moment.